Welcome to another deep dive, and this time we're going to be exploring the Quran,
Oh, wow.
looking at some key themes and interpretations, but with a bit of a twist.
Okay.
We're going to be using AI
Interesting.
to help us decode these ancient teachings.
I like it.
Our source material is a conversation between a YouTuber, Clearfee,
Okay.
and ChatGPT, and she asks ChatGPT to
Hey, ChatGPT, can you decode the verses of the Quran? Please reply in 10 seconds.
It sounds like an intriguing challenge. Decoding Quran verses can involve a variety of interpretations, linguistic analysis, and contextual understanding. If you have specific verses in mind or particular aspects you'd like to explore, feel free to share them. I can help you with interpretations, historical context, or thematic analysis.
I'm interested in the interpretations of Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 255.
Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 255, known as Ayat al-Kursi, emphasizes the oneness of Allah, His eternal life, and His role as the sustainer of the universe. It highlights His omniscience, stating that no one can intercede without His permission. The term Kursi symbolizes His vast authority. This verse is often recited for protection and blessings, making it one of the most revered in the Quran. It reinforces fundamental Islamic beliefs about God's greatness and sovereignty.
Are there any other verses in the Quran similar in theme to Ayat al-Kursi? Please reply to me in 30 seconds.
Yes, there are several verses similar in theme to Ayat al-Kursi. Surah Al-Ikhlas 112 emphasizes Allah's oneness and uniqueness. Surah Al-Anfal 8:24 highlights obedience to Allah and His Messenger. Surah Al-Hadid 57:3 describes Allah as the first and the last, showcasing His power. Surah Al-Mulk 67:15 encourages reflection on Allah's greatness and dominion. These verses collectively reinforce the core Islamic beliefs about God's nature and sovereignty.
What are other verses emphasizing Allah's power and sovereignty? Please reply to me in 30 seconds.
Here are several verses that emphasize Allah's power and sovereignty. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:255. Ayat al-Kursi highlights Allah's sovereignty and knowledge. Surah Al-Imran 3:189. To Allah belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth, and Allah has power over all things. Surah Al-Anfal 8:17. And it is not you who killed them, but it was Allah who killed them. Surah Al-Hadid 57:1. Whatever is in the heavens and the earth exalts Allah, and He is the exalted in might, the wise. Surah Al-Mulk 67:15. It is He who made the earth subservient to you, so traverse in its paths. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:20. Indeed, Allah is all-powerful. These verses collectively emphasize Allah's ultimate authority, control over creation, and supreme power.
Now the last one, but not the least, that how do you know all of this information? Please reply to me in 30 seconds.
I have been trained on a diverse range of texts, including religious texts, scholarly articles, and general knowledge sources. This training allows me to provide information on various topics, including the Quran, its verses, and their interpretations. My responses are based on patterns and information acquired during this training, enabling me to assist with questions about Islamic teachings and other subjects.
Welcome to another deep dive, and this time we're going to be exploring the Quran,
Oh, wow.
looking at some key themes and interpretations, but with a bit of a twist.
Okay.
We're going to be using AI
Interesting.
to help us decode these ancient teachings.
I like it.
Our source material is a conversation between a YouTuber, Clearfee,
Okay.
and ChatGPT, and she asks ChatGPT to, break down different Quranic verses.
Well, very cool.
It might sound a little unusual, but using AI to understand these religious texts, I think, offers some really, really fascinating insights.
Yeah, absolutely.
So are you ready to kind of explore this a little bit?
I am, yeah. It's a unique lens
Yeah,
to examine these timeless teachings.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's start by just kind of getting to know our unlikely duo here.
Okay.
So Clearfee, she's a YouTuber,
Mhm.
and she dives into all sorts of really interesting topics. And then you have ChatGPT, which I'm sure you're familiar with, which is that powerful AI chatbot that can understand and generate human-like text, right?
Yeah, and what's key here is that, ChatGPT has been trained on a huge amount of data,
Right.
including religious texts like the Quran,
Yeah.
and this allows it to, access and process information in a way that might offer,
Yeah.
kind of unexpected perspectives on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And she jumps right into the deep end
Okay.
and asks ChatGPT to decode Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 255, which is also known as Ayat al-Kursi, or the throne verse.
Right.
And this is a really, this verse is considered one of the most powerful and revered in the Quran.
Yes, it's often recited for protection and blessings.
Oh, wow.
The language of Ayat al-Kursi is incredibly beautiful and impactful.
Yeah.
It talks about Allah, the one God, being the sustainer of all existence, whose throne extends over the heavens and earth.
Right.
He doesn't tire in guarding and preserving them,
Okay.
and nothing is hidden from his knowledge. It really does encapsulate some of the core tenets of the Islamic faith.
Yeah. And ChatGPT does a great job, I think, of breaking down some of these key themes, right?
Yes.
Like Tawhid, the oneness of God, and Allah's absolute authority.
Right.
For instance, it points out how nobody can intercede on someone's behalf except by Allah's permission.
Right.
And it explains the symbolism of the Kursi, representing Allah's vast dominion over everything.
Right.
It makes you wonder if AI can pick up on these subtle nuances of meaning,
Yeah.
what else could it discover
Right.
within these religious texts, right?
It's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
And it really highlights how, AI could potentially enhance our understanding of religious texts.
For sure.
Take the concept of intercession, for example.
Yeah.
It implies a hierarchy of power where even powerful beings need Allah's consent.
Right.
This reveals something profound about the Islamic understanding of God's absolute power and authority.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And, it also mentioned that Ayat al-Kursi is often connected with the verses immediately before and after it. We won't go down that rabbit hole today.
Yeah.
But it does make you think about how each verse might illuminate the others.
Yeah. The Quran is known for its interconnectedness.
Yeah.
Each verse builds upon and illuminates the others.
Absolutely.
Exploring those surrounding verses could certainly enrich our understanding of Ayat al-Kursi.
Absolutely. So Cleophey then goes on to ask ChatGPT to identify other verses that share similar themes with Ayat al-Kursi.
Okay.
It's like asking for a guided tour
Right.
through the Quran, highlighting interconnected ideas. So what does it say?
Well, ChatGPT doesn't disappoint.
Okay.
It brings up verses like Surah Al-Ikhlas, which beautifully emphasizes the oneness and uniqueness of God,
Right.
and Surah Al-Anfal, verse 24,
Yeah.
which highlights the importance of obedience to Allah and his messenger.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it also
Yep.
mentions...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
It also mentions Surah Al-Hadid, verse 3,
Okay.
which describes God as the first and the last,
Right.
a powerful testament to his eternal power.
That's a great point.
Yeah, and Surah Al-Mulk, verse 15,
All right.
which encourages reflection on God's greatness and dominion.
So it's amazing to see how all of these seemingly disparate verses all speak to the same central themes that we find in Ayat al-Kursi.
Yes.
It's like weaving a tapestry
Yes.
of understanding across the Quran.
It really highlights how themes echo and resonate throughout the Quran,
Yeah.
offering a layered and nuanced understanding of its teachings.
Okay, so we've got Ayat al-Kursi decoded. We've seen how other verses echo its core themes.
Yes.
It raises an interesting question, though.
Okay.
How exactly does ChatGPT know all this information?
Right.
It's like it has access to this like secret library of knowledge.
It does, yeah. It's the question everyone wants to ask
Yeah.
when they see AI showcasing this kind of knowledge.
Yeah.
It almost feels like magic.
Yeah.
But the answer lies in the way AI is trained.
So it's time to dive into that. Next,
Let's do it. Yeah.
we've seen how ChatGPT can like decode verses and connect these themes within the Quran.
Right.
But it really leaves you wondering, how does it know all of this?
Right.
It's like it has access to this secret library of knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, Cleophey, she asks ChatGPT that very question.
Okay.
How do you know all this information?
Yeah. It's the question that everyone wants to ask.
Yeah.
When they see AI showcasing this kind of knowledge,
Right?
it almost feels like magic.
Yeah.
But the answer lies in the way that AI is trained.
Yeah. So ChatGPT explains that it was trained on this massive amount of data,
Right.
including, not just religious texts like the Quran, but scholarly articles, historical texts, all sorts of, general knowledge.
It's like having an incredibly well-read scholar at your fingertips,
Right.
able to connect the dots and draw insights from this vast pool of information.
So ChatGPT isn't forming its own opinions or interpretations. Right.
Drawing on what humans have already written and said about the Quran.
Exactly.
But this raises some really interesting questions about the future of religious study, right?
Absolutely.
Imagine the possibilities. I mean, AI could help us uncover these connections that we might have missed, offer new perspectives on age-old interpretations,
Right.
and even challenge our own assumptions about the text.
It makes you wonder, could AI become a collaborative partner
Right.
in our quest for spiritual understanding?
Yeah.
Or could it potentially lead to a more standardized, less personal interpretation of faith?
It's a really complex issue.
It is.
With no easy answers.
No.
On the one hand, AI could democratize access to knowledge and make these complex religious texts more accessible to everyone.
Right. Imagine being able to ask an AI any question that you have about the Quran.
Right.
And receiving a well-informed, nuanced answer.
That would be incredible.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand,
there's the concern that over-reliance on AI could diminish our own critical thinking skills and our personal connection to the text.
Exactly.
If we're not wrestling with these verses ourselves, are we truly engaging with their deeper meaning?
It's a delicate balance.
It is.
Yeah.
It's important to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or ill.
For sure.
The key lies in using it thoughtfully and responsibly.
Absolutely.
Recognizing its limitations.
Yeah.
And always engaging our own critical thinking skills.
That's so important.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from exploring the profound message of Ayat al-Kursi to understanding how AI can unlock these new layers of meaning within the Quran.
For sure.
But this is just the beginning of a much larger conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So before we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on the implications of AI's growing role in our understanding of faith and scripture. So as we kind of reach the end of our deep dive here, it feels like we've only just scratched the surface of this really fascinating intersection of AI and religious text.
Absolutely.
We've journeyed through the heart of Ayat al-Kursi. We've seen its themes echo throughout the Quran, and we've even glimpsed at how AI could become like a new lens through which to understand these ancient teachings.
It's been an incredible exploration, hasn't it?
It really has.
And what strikes me is how ChatGPT, despite its impressive capabilities, ultimately reflects our own understanding of the Quran.
Yeah.
It draws on the knowledge and interpretations that humans have developed over centuries.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that AI, at least for now, is a tool that amplifies human knowledge, not replaces it.
Right.
It can help us see connections we might have missed or challenge our assumptions.
Absolutely.
But the core understanding still comes from us.
Exactly. ChatGPT acts as a mirror, reflecting our own collective understanding.
And this brings us to a crucial question for you listening out there.
Yes.
How do you see AI's role evolving in our engagement with the Quran and other religious texts?
Yeah, it's a question worth pondering.
It really is.
Will AI-powered tools become commonplace in religious study?
Will we see like AI-assisted Quranic interpretation classes, or even apps that offer like real-time analysis of these verses?
It's certainly a possibility.
Yeah.
Imagine having an AI that can translate verses into different languages, provide historical context, or even connect you with scholarly interpretations from different schools of thought.
Right.
It could open up these huge new avenues for learning and understanding.
That's pretty exciting.
It is.
But it also, makes you wonder, could it potentially lead to a more standardized, less personalized interpretation of faith?
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
We must be mindful of the potential pitfalls while embracing these possibilities.
Yeah.
The beauty of religious texts lies in their ability to speak to individuals on a personal level, offering guidance and meaning tailored to their unique experiences.
I think the key takeaway here isn't to fear AI or to blindly embrace it, but to approach it with this critical and discerning mind.
Absolutely.
AI can be this powerful tool for learning and exploration, but it's up to us
Yes.
to ensure that it enhances rather than diminishes our own personal connection to our faith in scriptures.
Absolutely. Ultimately, the responsibility lies with us to use these tools wisely and to keep our own minds engaged.
Right.
AI can offer insights, but it's our own reflection, contemplation, and connection with the divine that...
Thank you for joining us for today's podcast. I hope you've gained some valuable insights. If you're a truth seeker, yearning for divine light and ready to step out of darkness, now is your moment. The truth is that Allah is the one and only creator of the universe. He has sent over 124,000 messengers and prophets to guide humanity, starting with Adam and culminating with the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them all. If you resonate with this message, you might be ready to embrace Islam. Simply recite the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith. For further support, feel free to join our WhatsApp group. You can send us a private message there. The link is in the video description. Don't wait until it's too late. We look forward to connecting with you soon.